Army in uproar. Is this the end of the Cold War between Taeil and Jungkook? HYBE's CCTV leaked and showed something no one had ever imagined. Two friends who were rumored to be arguing cuddle quietly in the parking lot. Why do they look like they are crying? Is this an apology or just a final goodbye? Army splashy. These are the CCTV moments of V and Jungkook caught in HYBE's parking lot. Who would have thought? Who would have dared to imagine that the two most beloved figures of BTS, Taeil and Jungkook, who for the past months seemed to be 2 poles away from each other, now actually bring new hope from just one silent recording that is almost inaudible, but shakes the whole world? Parking. CCTV. Hugs. 3 simple words that are now breaking the internet and shaking the Army's belief in the story they have always believed. That V and Jungkook are still not talking to each other. But what really happened behind the tape? Is this really a long-awaited moment of peace? Or is it just a glimpse of emotions born of fatigue and pressure invisible to the camera eye? It all started from a coincidence. That day, the atmosphere in HYBE's office seemed ordinary to the staff, except for one thing: V and Jungkook's unplanned visit schedule to cross paths. Or, at least, that's what management says. There is no shared agenda. No colaboración. No interacción. Jungkook came first with his manager, walking fast, full of concentration, but leaving an unusual amount of pressure on his face. While Taeil came a few hours later, more relaxed, but with eyes that seemed to hold something, whether anger, disappointment, or longing. What makes these two friends look so distant when they are in the same building? Why don't they even greet each other in the office corridor? Though Army still remembers clearly how their laughter used to dominate every variety show, every live broadcast, even every concert. But that day, something changed. Let alone talking, looking into the eyes as if it were impossible. Everything feels frozen, but everything changed when one video was secretly leaked and spread in internal Army circles. At first it was just a screenshot. Then the video is 18 seconds long. Then the full version 2 minutes 11 seconds. No sound. Just CCTV footage of HYBE's parking lot from the top right corner. The time is 17:39. And it was there, in silent frames, that the moment occurred that made millions of Army hearts almost stop beating. Jungkook, in his black hoodie that Army recognized from previous broadcasts, appeared to be walking quickly toward his car. But his steps came to a halt when another black car stopped a few meters away from him. The doors open. Taeil's down. And for a few seconds that felt like forever, they just stood there, silent, staring at each other. And then, without warning, Taeil walked up to Jungkook, hugged him, and no, not a formal hug. Not a forced brief hug, but a long, tight hug, and on closer inspection as if accompanied by a trembling movement of Jungkook's hand gripping the back of Taeil's jacket. Are they crying? There is no sound in the CCTV, but their bodies seem to tremble. And that moment can no longer be considered accidental, so the question is, if they have been hostile all this time, why exactly in the most hidden places they choose to show their most vulnerable side? Does this mean that all the rumors about the showdown so far are just a misunderstanding? Or is the truth deeper than the media can understand? Previously, the Army had long suspected that Taeil and Jungkook's relationship was not as harmonious as it once was. Many moments of the live broadcast felt awkward. Some interactions that are usually warm turn out to be rigid. Even in their solo projects, there is not a single collaboration or just a speech of support in front of the public. This gave rise to the theory that there was a major conflict deliberately hidden, either by the HYBE or by themselves. But why? Is it because of a difference of opinion? Solo career competition? Or something more private that they can't share publicly? Theory after theory sprang up. Some say that it all started with disagreements in the selection of songs. There are also those who believe that Jimin's message some time ago, which seemed to satirize one of them, was the trigger for a deeper crack. But in that embrace, all theories seem to lose strength, because no rivalry, anger, or awkwardness can survive in such an embrace. There are only 2 tire hearts. 2 best friends who may have been away from each other for too long, but can't lie to themselves that they miss each other. The question now is, what happens after the hug? Are they talking? Do they apologize to each other? Or is it just sharing the pain in silence? No one knows for sure, because after that hug, the camera just shows them walking away together, out of frame. Then Taeil's car goes first. Jungkook followed 5 minutes later. That's it. But precisely because of just that one simple moment, the whole world changed. HYBE himself has not issued any statements. Even as the Army flooded their social media with questions, not a single clarification was given. Are they trying to protect the privacy of both members? Or are they just waiting for the right time to show up? Even their official Weverse account chose silence, as if nothing had ever happened. But Army is no ordinary fandom. They read body language, remember every expression, store every interaction, and this time they capture something bigger than just a hug. This is hope. The hope that 2 people who once shared stages, dreams, and tears together may now have found a way to recover. But this hope is also wrapped in anxiety. Because if this is a moment of reconciliation, why is it done clandestinely? Why is it not revealed to the public with great joy? Are they still afraid of something? Or is there a bigger reason why their relationship should still look tenuous? Some speculate that the hug was not merely emotional. Some fans even mentioned the possibility of pressure from the agency, a major project that would involve both of them, or even an apology from one of the parties for a mistake that has long been buried. But who is wrong? And who was the first to lend a hand? ARMY is now divided between two feelings, happy and confused. Happy to see two beloved figures touching each other again, but confused because there is no clarity. And in this world of expectations, obscurity often hurts even more. What about the other BTS members? Do they know? Do Jin, Jimin, RM, Suga, and J-Hope know what really happened between V and Jungkook? Did they also arrange this reconciliation secretly? The questions flow. Every second in the video is now dissected. Every move is analyzed. Even the expression of their eyes was made the object of long discussions in international forums. Some saw tears. Some see a short smile at the end of the hug. Some believe that it's not the end, but rather the beginning of something bigger. Maybe even an unexpected comeback project. But whatever happens, one thing is certain. The hug changes everything. Not only Taeil and Jungkook's relationship, but also the hearts of millions of ARMY who have been hoping, praying, and waiting. Now the world can only wait. Will they appear together again? Will there be a live broadcast explaining everything? Or rather, after this they are again silent. And if they choose silence, is the ARMY ready to go back to guessing in the dark? Or this time, is that enough hugs? We don't know. But one hug in HYBE's parking lot has made the world will never be the same again. But after the embrace, not only speculation arose, but also new tensions. Not all soldiers feel relieved or happy. Some feel more hurt. Why hide? Is a question that is constantly repeated on different platforms, especially X and Weverse. Are they ashamed to look fragile? Or is there something darker that keeps them from showing off that piece to the world? Some longtime fans have even started digging through interviews, live moments, and behind-the-scenes footage from the past year, looking for clues as to whether there's anything they've been missing. And the surprising thing is, it turns out that the fine threads have indeed been spreading for a long time. A few months ago, Jungkook once avoided answering a question about Taeil while live. He laughed stiffly, turned his head to the side, and said, "We all have hard times, but I hope everyone stays happy." That sentence now sounds different, heavier. More implies a pent-up burden. What about Taeil? In the promotion of his solo project, he was also once asked about Jungkook. He said, "We're all focused on each other." In the past, Taeil was the one who joked the most about Jungkook. In the past, he called her by the nickname BTS's spoiled child, then hugged her in the middle of a live broadcast for no reason. But since a few months ago, all that warmth has disappeared. And now, the hug appeared suddenly, like a puzzle piece that appeared out of nowhere. They may be trying to heal wounds, but ARMY isn't ready to forgive the pain of losing their chemistry all along. Too many unanswered questions. Was the hug purely emotional, or was it just a charade for the sake of saving the public's reputation? Some netizens began to doubt the authenticity of the moment, considering it damage control over leaked BTS rift rumors that had surfaced in the South Korean music industry chat. Can these two really go that far? There is also a theory that this hug is part of HYBE's big plan ahead of the group's comeback. That said, BTS will be reuniting in a special year-end project, and all internal conflicts must be resolved so that the work atmosphere does not become toxic. But then again, if that's the case, why does the hug seem so real, so personal? There are no professional cameras. There is no stage. Only the parking lot was deserted and two bodies ended up leaning on each other. Meanwhile, the Korean media began to react. Articles have sprung up with speculative headlines. Are Jungkook and Taeil finally reconciling? The hug that ended the cold. V and JK reunited? Until HYBE parking CCTV leaked, HYBE will take legal action. But the most thrilling was the reaction from fellow BTS members. There is no official statement yet, but in Jimin's latest upload, he wrote one short sentence that made the ARMY shudder. Sometimes, we just need time to get back to being human. Does it refer to Taeil and Jungkook's embrace? Does Jimin know more than he reveals? Because so far, Jimin is known as the emotional link between the two friends. He was always in the middle when the two were not talking. He was once a tranquilizer when the two were seen moving away from each other. And now, it may be a witness to the embrace that changes everything. But is one hug enough? Can wounds that have been gaping for months heal just by hugging each other in a dark parking lot? Or do they just embrace unfinished wounds? On the other hand, an unnamed HYBE staffer leaked to a forum that the hug moment occurred after a fairly intense meeting in the fourth floor boardroom. According to the source, the noise from the room was quite loud, although it was not clear what was being talked about. But afterwards, Jungkook came out with puffy eyes. And Taeil followed a few minutes later, heading straight for the basement where their car was parked. If this information is true, then the hug is not just emotional, but it may also be final. Final? Yes. Some of the ARMY began to worry. What if the hug was a farewell? What if they don't forgive each other, but just confess to each other? What if both are aware that they cannot go back to the way they were, and the hug is a symbol of a bitter decision to stop trying? So it's no wonder that many fans cried after watching the CCTV. Not out of happiness, but out of fear. Because too many of their beautiful moments in the past are now just archives of memories. How can we see two people who once laughed on stage holding hands now have to be silent and only meet in the parking lot? But life is not as simple as drama. Not all hugs mean the end. Not all tears mean goodbye. Sometimes, the quietest moment can be a new beginning if we are willing to believe. Now the world is waiting. Will they come back together after this? Will there be a collaborative project that brings them together again? Or will the hug remain the only moment left? And amid all those questions, only one thing continues to resonate in ARMY's heart. Why weren't we told from the beginning that they were injured? Because in the end, the hug wasn't just about V and Jungkook, but about all of us, who for too long believed that they would always be together unharmed. And now we learn that even the biggest stars can feel themselves and just hug each other where no one can see you, but today they're visible. And the whole world is watching. When the camera stops recording and the media spotlight starts to go out, only silence remains. But it is precisely there that the realities of life are often the most truthful, among the distant footsteps, the lingering breath and traces of tears that have not yet had time to dry. The embrace captured on simple, silent CCTV footage left more than just an image. It instilled new wounds, vague hopes, and unfinished anxieties in the hearts of millions of soldiers around the world. They're waiting for anything. A live broadcast, a line, a new song. But what appears is exactly the opposite: silence. Even BTS and HYBE's official accounts seemed to disappear from the conversation. No upload, no clarification, not even an apology for the CCTV video that somehow got leaked to the public. Did the video really leak accidentally? Or deliberately released to convey something Taeil and Jungkook can't say directly? Suspicions were heightened after an ARMY officer in Korea uploaded a screenshot of HYBE's employee app's internal login system, showing that the last access used to unlock the CCTV footage came from a staff ID previously involved in promoting Jungkook's solo album. Is this a signal that the hug was really meant to be seen? To serve as an introduction to something bigger, while the world was busy speculating, Jungkook uploaded a photo to his Instagram story. Not his face, not a view, but a pair of black shoes in the corner of the parking lot with caption, "Sometimes we only have one chance to say it." Just one sentence. But for ARMY, it was enough to make the whole fandom explode. Does that mean he's sorry? Did he want to say something to Taeil that he couldn't say? Or rather, was it some kind of farewell? Shortly after, Taeil posted a short story as well. This time it's just a plain black background, with BTS's Blue and Gray song playing faintly, and the highlighted lyrics are, "I just want to be happier. Is this too much greed?" Millions of hearts were instantly broken. How could two people who meant so much to each other now only be able to talk through snippets of lyrics and silent pictures? And that's where, amid a storm of silence and symbols, we begin to realize something. Maybe the hug is not reconciliation. Maybe not a goodbye. It's a code. A silent message. Maybe they can't say it directly, but through the tape, they want us to know that they are human too. Not an idol. Not a machine. Not a perfect figure. But two men who were once too close, then moved away from each other, and now are learning to forgive themselves. But of course, not all fans think that pure. On the other side of the fandom, darker theories began to emerge. One international fanbase account posted a long thread about BTS's internal conflicts that were deliberately hidden since last year, saying that the rift between Taeil and Jungkook involved the interference of one of HYBE's creative directors who sided with a particular solo project. It was even mentioned that this silent competition between the members created an inevitably tense atmosphere, and that the embrace was probably a condition to dampen the bad news that would soon emerge. But shortly after the thread went viral, the account suddenly disappeared. Suspended. And that's where ARMY's suspicions grow wilder. Is HYBE really trying to control the narrative? If there is nothing to hide, why should there be sudden deletions, delays, and silences? Behind the scenes, it's getting hot. Entertainment industry analysts are starting to speak up. In an open podcast, a former K-pop producer stated that physical interactions such as hugs between male idols, especially in viral conflicts, are very rarely natural unless there is something more emotional behind it. He also said that it could be the result of tremendous psychological pressure due to inhuman expectations of the industry. Sometimes they don't know how to talk anymore, so the only way out is to hug. But then again, if that's true, why didn't any of the major Korean media dare to touch on this issue more deeply? Are they also bound? Or prefer to side with a calm narrative for the sake of good image? And what about the other BTS members? Suga remained silent.
No uploads.
No response. RM, in a radio interview a few days after the CCTV video circulated, had said quietly, "I think everyone needs their own time to understand themselves." Sometimes silence does not mean not caring, but precisely because it cares too much. Is he talking about Jungkook and Taeil? Not mentioned. But all the ARMY knows, it's not a coincidence, until finally, a week after the video, J-Hope broke the silence. In the short 9-minute Weverse Live, he laughs, greets ARMY, then sigh. "You've all seen it, right?" he said. "Sometimes we are too hard on the people we love." And then he smiled, without explaining who he meant. But everyone knows, there are only two names in our minds, so is this a sign that the hug opens the way for real reconciliation? Is there any hope that they will perform together again? A few days later, a mysterious poster spread on HYBE's internal forum, showing silhouettes of two men standing side by side with cryptic inscriptions. Not an ending, just a quiet chapter. ARMY immediately speculated that this is a new project teaser. Could it be that Jungkook, as the duo is popularly known, will release a duet song? Or a documentary called The Quiet Chapter? Or is it just their way of closing that chapter forever? But one thing is undeniable. The hug has changed everything. He shook the fandom, shook assumptions, and